of the things that we have been talking about, it just amazes me that you all connect. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about your friendships. And, friendships, I mean, there are a number of things I want to talk about, but that's part of it. So friendships can be so tenuous and you have so many questions. Is this person a real friend? Is this person a real friend? It's something that you're always thinking about, considering, working with. But let me say this. I really think that today, many people, because you look around at social media, you look around at, things that people are sharing, and it seems like sometimes it seems to many that everybody else has so many friends, and everybody else is out doing this, and everybody else is out doing that. But sometimes there are periods in your life, or you may have a particular personality, where not having a lot of, let's say, so-called friends can actually be a great benefit to you in many, many ways. Now, it's not that when you have the right people around you that it's not wonderful, but just accepting whatever friendships are available doesn't make you a more valuable person, doesn't make you a more desirable person. It doesn't make you somebody who's more worthwhile just because you're said to have a lot of friends, just because people see you with a lot of people. I really think that when the way people consider pursuing happiness is not necessarily healthy in the way that they pursue it, because maybe it has more of a selfish end. And I know people debate, that whole idea of selfishness. And some people will talk about, well, they had to consider what was right for them and take care of themselves before they could be of value to anyone else. And once they got strengthened, they were actually able to be more useful to others. But I think sometimes depression also comes about because people are seeking happiness in a way that I don't think, again, is consistent with what is healthy. I think if one of your focuses is to really see how you can serve other people in a way that's not selfish in an unhealthy way. Yes, you do have to be mindful of yourself, be good to yourself. And especially if you care about others, you have to. However, if your goal is to just be happy, whatever you think that means, whatever you've seen in the movies, whatever you've seen on television, rather than seeing how can I really serve others? What skill do I have that really brings joy to others, that really makes life easier for others, that really helps others to have the kind of mentality foundationally that will advance them. And when you start to really tap in to how you can serve others, I really do believe that there is a kind of joy that comes with it that is different than pursuing this happiness that is just about, oh, you got this bag that you like, or you got into this party, or you got into these new jeans. I mean, those things can be wonderful if there's a foundation. And again, I always refer to the Bible. And if you love God and you love your neighbor, you focus on principles that I know are in the Bible. It is transformative. Sometimes your sadness, I believe, comes from chasing the wrong things, looking for the wrong things. And sometimes you will get that. You will get that message, that wrong message, that this is what you want. And you don't even realize why you're unhappy. And it's, I believe, in part because if you really were looking for the right thing, I don't know the exact verse, but it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all things shall be added unto you. I don't know if I'm saying the exact words or if I'm paraphrasing, but I'm trying to remember those words from the Bible. And I think it's really, really central, because once you really seek the kingdom of God, once you really focus on God and what he wants for you, you'll be amazed at how other things fall into place. So sometimes it's really about, what is your focus? You might think you're so unhappy. Oh, you didn't get this particular job. Is it a job that really would have served others well? Would you have even really been happy in that position? You think it's what you wanted. Oh, you are not able to be with this person, or maybe even temporarily, it's something you're still trying to figure out. What does that person really bring to the table? How does that person help you to carry out what you've been gifted to carry out in this lifetime? So all of those things are very, very important. So, okay, let me now circle back to this idea of friendship, because you see a lot of times where friendships that you thought were real friendships, there's deception. You see that somebody that you were close to actually is envious of you. You see that somebody who you were trying to help is actually trying to sabotage you. And sometimes things are moving so quickly in your life that you don't even have time to sit and think, what happened in that friendship, or what's happening in this friendship? Why do I constantly have this undertow emotionally that doesn't sit well with me when I interact with this person? You may be in a friendship where, because again, things may be moving so quickly with school or with work or with you just covering your basics, that you don't have, or you didn't have a moment to sit back and consider something that doesn't sit right with you in the friendship that you have. Or even if you stopped speaking with somebody regularly, you were so busy that you never really examined. Wait a minute, we were at this party and this person made this comment, And, and my friends so easily supported what they said or went in on the joke, or I told my friend about something that was hurtful and they seemed to take the other person's side, or I told my friend something wonderful that happened and they didn't seem happy. They almost seemed like it was, I won't go deeper into that, but you understand what I'm saying. And you didn't have the time to really consider what's going on and what it felt like and whether it's healthy for you because you're so busy. And so you might end up having another relationship, friendship, that looks similar to that one. So if you want to get somewhere, and when I say get somewhere, I don't mean in terms of what the world values. I mean in terms of really making your mark while you're here, in terms of really making a valuable contribution while you're here. If you do want that, but you are entangled in these friendships and these relationships that pull you away from those really positive goals, have you had a chance to sit down and really think about it? And let me also get onto a topic of 3 things, because we're on the topic of envy, okay? 3 things that might indicate to you that your friend is actually really envious. And although it's not always the best thing, and again, this is not medical advice, or you should always consult a professional. These are just ideas. 3 things that you should examine when you're saying, is a friend envious of you? And let's say, number 1, you tell them some news that you have, something wonderful that has happened for you. What is the reaction? What is the reaction? Look at their face. Look at the body language. What is the feeling that you get once you've shared that thing? If your friend sees that you're starting to move up, you're starting to advance, and you share something with that friend, and even if the outwardly things, the voice, the response, even if the body language, those things seem appropriate, what do you feel deep down? Is this person truly joyful for you? That's number 1. Number 2, many times you've heard it said, when you have an idea, something wonderful that you want to do, you don't always need to share it so quickly. You need to be very mindful of sharing things before you actually accomplish it. Now, there are many people who have written on this, and you can always Google things about silence, the power of silence. But when you bring an idea, do they say things that are discouraging, that don't really make overall sense? Things that don't feel just like a caution, but feel more like trying to discourage you. Because what you're presenting is, well thought out, sound. You considered it for a long time. You did research. And the caveats that they're giving you don't really seem to be commensurate with a caution that would advance you or be protective towards you. Sometimes it's hard to know. Sometimes somebody may very well be in your interest, but it's hard to know. Sometimes somebody may very well want good things for you, but you're unclear. So for number 2, do they say things that will sabotage you? Really think about their feedback. And number 3 connects back to not sharing things as much as possible until you've accomplished them. Again, there are many reasons for this. There are many different people who have discussed this. Yes, there are times when, you say certain things. And I think even from the Bible, you call those things that are not, you call them, and again, I'm paraphrasing, I don't have the exact words, but I think it's an important concept to call things that are not as though they are, as they are. Again, I'm paraphrasing from the Bible. I don't have the exact words, but that is in the Bible. Yes, that's important. But when you're accomplishing a task or a goal, and you share it, especially, you don't know if that person is envious. There are many things you're unclear on. So that's another thing to examine. So that's kind of a second part. What is the reaction? And then, should you even be sharing it at all? Do you need to? So let me go on to another topic here. And this is still in line with the topic of envy. When you ask your friend for help in what you're doing, help in something that's confusing to you, but let's say very direct help. What is their response, especially when they have the resources? And again, I want to thank everybody for listening to these lives. You guys know that these lives are just for, celebrities and leaders. These are the only people that follow us. So it's really a core group of people that get it. This wonderful, wonderful person online just said that they really enjoy the lives that we're doing. And that is so meaningful because it's just a core group of people. So thank you guys so much. And thank you to the celebrities, the leaders who are drawn to what we're doing. So grateful. So back to it. Yes. If you ask your friend for help and they have the resources, how willing are they to help you? Now, this is not, this is not repeatedly going back or being insensitive to what your friend needs or asking for things that you could do yourself. I mean, this is when you really need help. And you know your own character. So you know the times when you're asking and you know that because of your character, you wouldn't ask unless you really needed it. If your friend has the resources, how willing are they to help you? How willing are they to help you? Sometimes that's one of the things that will help you to really be able to examine what they want for your future. That if you take on a task and you need help, what is their response to you asking for help? Very, very important. Very important. So now let me get to 4 things that will help you know if you're being a good friend or if you're battling with things like envy. When your friend tells you, number one, when your friend tells you something great that happens for them, what's your first reaction? And I think I've shared before a story of a friend that I had just getting out of school who, the first time we talked, this was before either of us, I think, had jobs. She was so excited when she got her job before, I had. And she was telling me about it, and I was so happy for her, And then soon after, I also got, and then she was telling me, about what she was being paid. And I wasn't being paid anything near that at the time, but I was so genuinely happy for her. And then soon after I don't know if it was soon after, but I remembered thinking back and my pay went up to what she had said. And then we talked again, and it was somehow she'd advanced again. I don't know if it was in the position or the pay. And then not too long after, I received the same thing. But every time she told me, I was genuinely happy for her. And I think this is easier when you're right out of school, easier when your opportunities in the world feel so wide open for you. So it was just an instinct. I was just genuinely happy for her. And everything she said she got, I got, if not that and more. And it's not about a competition. I was truly happy for her. But I believe, as I've said before, that those things were presented to me, and many of you who know me or know my work know my faith in God is very important to me. So I believe that things were being presented to me, and I just feel like if I had really resented it or really been envious, I just don't know if those things would have shown up. I think eventually maybe they would have, but it was so, it followed so closely. And I just don't know if they would have showed up to that degree, and just, it was just amazing. So 4 things when you want to examine if you are envious of a friend. Number 1, they tell you something great that's happened for them. What is your response? What do you instinctually really feel? Number 2, if they're in a relationship, a romantic relationship, for example, and not everybody has to be at all times. Not everybody is going to thrive the same way in, romantic relationships or at certain times in their lives. I think it's something that you pray about. But we get this message that we always have to be. It's something that you have to pray about. What is right for you? But if your friend is in a romantic relationship especially one that seems healthy? Do you encourage them? Do you do things as much as you can to facilitate that relationship? Do you love to see them together, to hear about the great things that they're doing for each other? Even if you're not in a relationship at the time, or you're not in a relationship, a romantic relationship of your own, how do you feel when they talk about what they're experiencing? I think it's very important to know. Now also, so that's number 2. Number 3, when they cry, I remember an instance where, and I'll phrase it this way, one friend started crying about something, and the other friend briefly laughed. Now you might say that's crazy. I think it was a moment of it might have just been a moment of discomfort. And that, that was the reaction. And somebody might say, well, that's absolutely unacceptable, that a friend would do that, and to even have that as a discussion seems ridiculous and silly. Obviously, that's not your friend, but sometimes you have to examine it. That maybe have been a reaction of just discomfort, that the friend busted out crying and the other friend didn't know how to react. But it may also just be, underlying resentment. And when this friend started crying, that was the reaction of the other friend. What is your reaction when, and I'm not saying I haven't had that experience myself of laughing at somebody when they were in pain. I just haven't had that. Not to say, oh, I'm trying to put myself in a superior light in that degree, in that regard. I'm just being honest. I've never had that reaction to a friend in pain. But I don't want to vilify somebody who has either. But it's something to examine. Was it just nervous laughter, or do they really have a resentment towards that friend? And seeing them in discomfort, that was their genuine reaction. They couldn't help. It just came out. So it's something to think about. What is your response when your friend is in pain? And number four, what do you actively do to see your friend advance? I think sometimes we may have friendships, relationships, and we are not aware that one side is giving more than the other. We're not aware that one side feels taken for granted. It's really something to consider. Are you envious of your friend, or are you actively doing things to see your friend advance? I think it's really important, because many people have that sort of topical idea of friendship and spending time with each other and going places and traveling. But what are you actively doing to see your friend move forward in every way possible that's positive? So you guys, again, I want to thank you so much for joining for the lives. when you listen back to them, can you see yourself in either position? As we talk about envy, can you see yourself in either position? As a friend, on the giving side, on the receiving side, who are you? And again, I want to thank you that, all the celebrities and leaders who are part of what we're doing. There's this wonderful person, again, as I was saying online, who said that they enjoy the lives. And it just reminded me of how model poetry followers are so attuned to what we're doing. They're so effortlessly comfortable with our work, something that might seem strange to others or uncomfortable to others. They're just easily and effortlessly ready to receive what the positive things that we offer. So thank you so much to all of you. And these are things to consider in terms of, envy. That was the overarching discussion that we had today. What is your relation to it? You can move forward in your life when you examine the friendships around you that you might think are beneficial, but are in some ways holding you back. You can also move forward in life, I believe, by considering how are you being a friend to others, or are you envious? Because you can really be held back if you try to sabotage anyone else, obviously, but sometimes people are not aware of what they're doing. It can still hold you back. And you might wonder, why are these things not working? Why are these things not unfolding the way I like or the way I want? But when you are trying to hold somebody back, it's just like holding yourself back. And probably worse. You really have to want good things for others to see some of those great things happen in your own life. So those are things to really consider. And again, I love that many of you, usually we do some of these later, but I love that when they come on our lives, you can go around the house, maybe cleaning or doing, something. If you have a particular routine, a spa-like routine, and you put this on so that you can hear it and think about it. So you might have it in the background. You may have it as you're resting. You may focus on what we're saying very much. But thank you, those who have expressed that you like hearing a calm voice and just engaging in an unjudgmental way. Just having a conversation or just offering ideas for conversation. You want to move forward in your life, but sometimes the things that are holding you back, you're not even aware. You're not even aware. So one of those things, and I'll just make this as a prominent point amongst the other things that I've said, wanting good things for others and actively working in ways to advance others. You will see that. You can see that fruit in your own life. But again, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things all other things shall be added unto you. I'm paraphrasing. I don't have the exact words. But the Bible to me is just so amazing. It is just the guide. The writing that is the guide, I believe, to just an abundant life. So, in closing, I will say, be mindful of where you get your values from. Because sometimes you may be depressed, you may be sad, and you don't even realize that it's because you are pursuing things that are not healthy for you. You're pursuing a friendship maybe for the way that it looks to the world or the access that you can get. And then you wonder why you feel sad. But those are not, genuine reasons to want to be around somebody. Are you happy for others? Are you happy for your friend? Are you doing things to help your friend move forward? Are you comfortable spending time by yourself if your current friendships are not working the way you'd like them to? Are you comfortable spending time with yourself and just being reflective and quiet? Are you recognizing that when you have big goals, sometimes, many times, you can keep those things to yourself? You may not know which friends envy you. You don't always have to share everything. In fact, I really do think that most of the time, you can keep things to yourself until those goals are realized. And then you can talk about them in healthy ways. But realize even when you talk about them, sometimes it's hard for people to hear when they themselves are still trying to get there. So that was the discussion on envy today. You guys are wonderful. Again, thank you to the celebrities and the leaders who are really our audience. And thank you to the wonderful person online who said they're enjoying the lives. I want to look it up to see. I was looking for your name, but we're going to be talking more and more about you guys in the lives. And it is just, we're so happy to have you guys. There's one other person, they said, their name is like, written out, it would be, I don't even know where to put it, _3, but it's like IDEK, and then they spelled out where to put it, _3. They were talking about one of our recent videos with the balloons, and they were saying that the balloons, something like the balloons represent that life is a gift and everything in it. And I love hearing your interpretations of the videos that we post, the music videos, and you can see those. I love hearing your interpretations. They're so vibrant, and your minds are so alive and amazing. So thank you for those interpretations. We're going to be discussing you guys more and more in the lives, and just integrating, sharing thoughts, integrating what we're doing online on the website. And you guys can go to ModelPoetry.com and see some of the people who follow us on the other platforms. We might have a little emblem for them on the site, little space that they have on our site. Certainly the celebrities who have been kind to us, like Naomi Campbell, Doja Cat, Kathy Ireland, celebrities who have been kind to us, and leaders in our community. You guys, we have a little space for you. Some of you on our website, and you never know when you're going to go to the website and see a little emblem, that represents you. So do let us know if you want if you have a business, a small business, and you want to have some kind of representation of that on the site, that's wonderful. If you want to be a member and have some kind of representation of you at modelpoetry.com, that's wonderful. And then sometimes we also have those who, we recognize in different ways that are at modelpoetry.com. That's wonderful. And you guys are one of our sponsors, the Early Owego Antique Center. It's amazing what's happening. We've gotten such good feedback from you guys, and we're really happy that natural and organic companies are so drawn to what we're doing. So yes, if you're a natural or organic company, or if you guys know of one, yes, you guys can reach out to us. We're very selective of who we put on modelpoetry.com. But yes, we are open to sponsors if their goals and their products and their community is something that we feel is in line with what we think is valuable and contributes to the community. So don't forget the Early Owego Antique Center. That's at modelpoetry.com. And tell us your thoughts. Share your comments. We might include you, talk about you in a live, in a future live. But today, thank you for joining us on the topic of envy. Thank you that you can sometimes just have it in the background while you do your, spa resetting, while you clean things around, reorder things around your house, while you walk in nature, in safe areas in nature, being very alert. And sometimes when you're in nature, you just want to hear nature sounds. But just for nature, maybe maybe just have the sound of nature around you. But when you are at home, when you are in spaces where you just want to turn on our lives and just reflect and just relax and just consider these points, because things may not be obvious to you immediately, but I believe the correct ideas keep going in. You allow those ideas in, and they're going to add to your life. Wow. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It just started to rain. I don't know if you can hear that. It just started to rain, and that is a wonderful note to end the live on. All right, you guys, love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.